Well, hello, this is Tyrone Holmes, the founder and CEO of the MSF Trauma. We welcome you back to the Trauma Network for Men. We're so glad to be back in your, whether it's in your home, in your car, you may be at work, or just relaxing out and about, or looking at your phone and watching our broadcast. We're so glad to have you back with us again. We are so happy that we are able to bring you these broadcasts and help men and youth to be able to start communicating about their problems and what we as men go through and the things that we need to address, because we are in a society which is trying to shape us as men and try to dictate to us how we should live, but those things they're trying to teach us is the wrong way. So last week we left off dealing with how men heal, part 2, and we talked a little bit last week about the man box. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the man box and what the man box is all about. So we hope that you stay tuned, continue to watch, and we look forward to hearing from you real soon after the broadcast. Hit us up on our networks via Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or our email. Emails, anything you want to tell us about our broadcast, please give us a call. So let's get into our broadcast tonight. The man box. What is the man box? And a lot of y'all will say, what is the man box? Well, it is the collective socialization of men has contributed to sexual and domestic violence against women, and how men need to be a part of that solution. As men, we have unwritten rules, agreements, and codes of silence that other men come to expect from us. This set of standards, expectations, and rules regulate 1, our behavior, 2, our thoughts as men, 3, our ideas, and 4, they confine us to what we call the man box. The man box dictates how we act. Moreover, it reinforces specific beliefs and opinions of women. The man box also defines manhood in a way that rewards those who are true to its tenets while chastising those who fall short. Breaking down the man box's social norms will ultimately help men identify and hopefully rectify the behavior that supports a culture where violence against women is tolerated. Well, I want to introduce again our brothers that's part of the men's organization here at MSF, Brother Dwight and Brother Josh. Welcome back, brothers. Good to have you, man. All right, brothers. God bless you. How you doing, brother? Good to have you back, Brother Josh. Brothers, we talked briefly last week about the man box, and I just want us to talk tonight on how you feel about the man box, what it means to you as a man, and what we talked about last week and what you have experienced in your life. You know what we are expected to be as men. So let's go over a few of those things first before we really get deep into this conversation tonight on what the man box, what society says the man box is. Let's go over a few things, because we are taught as men we should be what? Number 1, what should we be?
Tough.
Oh, okay, or strong. What does that mean to you?
Of course, for the man box, I think society misuse the word, take it out of context, about thinking men should be strong for us physically, but they never taught them to be strong mentally for us going through situations, things like that, or when they face issues. Society don't teach us how to deal with issues or to even take the opportunity to overcome our issue. They say we should be strong by holding everything in.
That's right.
And do what we got to do and keep moving forward and just go through life. It's like everything is all precious and sweet, which is not.
Which is not. How about you, Brother Josh? How is that, when you talk about the word, as male, the man box says that we have to be strong. What does that mean to you as being a young man, and how do you feel about it?
Thanks for asking, Brother Tyrone. I kind of feel the same way that White was. It's taken out of context.
Yeah.
Society has taught us, it's a double standard, basically.
Sure.
And society wants us to act a certain way. But when we act that certain way, they take it out of context.
Yes.
Like, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yes.
But you as the society has set that rule.
Yes.
So when we go out of context, they take it out of context.
Yes,
So,
that's right. Absolutely.
yeah, you gotta be strong and mentally strong to be able to function out here in this world because of the double standard.
That's right, absolutely. How about showing anger? Because that's the big thing with us as men. Because we always talk about this in our meetings. that when a man is pushed up against the wall or pushed in the corner, the only thing we know and the only way we react is with anger and with violence, and we strike out. How do you feel about that? I feel, as men, I'll say this about that, is because we are not taught how to talk about our problems, and that's why we have this. That's why we have the anger issue, because that's the only way we know how to show ourselves to be a man. A woman is more of a communicator. She will talk her problems out, because within the first 15 minutes, if you got a girlfriend, if you got a wife, if you ask your girlfriend or your wife what's going on, within 15 minutes she'll tell you everything that's going on in her life. 15 minutes, she'll tell you. But a man is like pulling nails. So when we get pushed up against the wall and we're in a situation where our pride is in the middle of that, we're going to try to protect that pride with anger and violence. We're going to lash out. So when we talk about anger in men, and maybe in your situation personally, how do you feel about that when it comes to anger? Have you experienced those things, or have you known people that have used anger to settle their problems and issues?
Yeah.
Well, I can vouch for that because when I was going through the adversity with my parents and things like that, I had anger inside me, and I observed that, my family, they observed that, how I was always quick tempered. I would get mad at every single little small thing, and reality is that I was affected by the things that went through parts of my childhood, and by me not talking it out, because from my understanding, once I always heard, suck it up, you man, or you too young to be going through all these things like that. But in this day and time, you got to pay attention to the signs that your children are implementing you, or just anger, or how they're expressing their feelings, because they're letting you know that they're dealing with something deep inside. You probably don't understand them because they're a child.
Yes.
Well, in reality, they still have feelings and emotions just like you or an adult.
Absolutely.
So, me going through life all this with my anger, things like that, it wasn't beneficial. But as I matured and learned different from my granddaddy and from being a part of this organization, this when I really started getting rooted down and helping out with my anger, being more self-control of my emotion. Because again, anger is just emotion, but also too, anger is just a sign of fear.
That's right.
So I guess I was growing up being fearful of being hurt again, so I would show anger to protect me and keep that wall up from somebody coming in, as far as mentally and emotionally. So anger is the quickest and fastest way to push somebody away from you from hurting you again.
And you brought up a very point. I'm going to get to you, Brother Josh, to answer as well. You brought up a key word, fear. F-E-A-R. We as men fear a lot of things, but we're not going to let nobody else see that in us. We will show it in our actions when we lash out. Because, like you said, we trying to protect things that we don't understand, or we don't know how to communicate that verbally, so we release it in anger to protect ourselves from being hurt. And I'm that way. I'm not a violent person per se, but I try to protect myself from certain things because I don't want to get myself in a situation where I know if I'm pushed to a certain limit, I'm going to lose it. And I don't like to get to that place. You know, they say quiet people are the worst people to be around because you don't know what they're going to do. I'm that kind of person. And I very seldom get mad, but when you push me to that ledge, then we got some issues going on. And I don't want to get their way. And that's what it is. It's a fear factor because you don't know how you're going to react. That's how men are. A lot of men will they'll be fearful, but they feel if they lash out and be violent, they're taking control of their situation. You see what I'm saying? Instead of somebody invading their space, they're going to lash out and take advantage of that person, but they take advantage of them. How about you, Brother Josh? About dealing with anger.
Anger, yeah. I was like Brother Dwight. Some things happened to me in my early life, and it made me angry.
Yes.
And sometimes the anger will come out in ways that I ain't want it to. But like Brother Dwight said, when you put up that wall, and somebody try to come and break the wall like a therapist or something, you're gonna get mad because you don't want to talk about what happened to you.
Absolutely.
But like Brother Dwight said, once you learn how to open up about it, it really helps you to heal.
Sure.
Because once you let it out, you're not holding all that anger in that you have toward what had happened.
Well, did you hear what he just said? He said that's how you begin to heal. That's the whole key. And our audience, I hope you heard what Brother Josh said and what Brother Dwight said. The healing and the fear. Those are two things that we have to deal with as men. The fear factor is because we don't know what the unknown is. And we are afraid to expose ourselves to those things that we don't understand, so we react in violence. But for us as men, and that's what we talked about the last two, on the last two segments of the Trauma Network, how men heal. We have to learn how to communicate before we can heal. If you don't talk, you ain't gonna never heal. That's just like a doctor. If you go to the doctor and tell a doctor that you're hurting, the first thing he's gonna ask you, where you hurt at? What's your symptoms? He wants to find out what the symptoms is, what's causing that hurt, because anybody can put a Band-Aid on a bruise or something that you have broken, but that's right, you can't put a Band-Aid on that. You have to get inside of that other heart so that person can speak the thing that's in them before it can heal.
I'm going to take it out of context now. You get into the meat of it, and you got to stitch by stitch.
That's right. That's right.
It's not gonna happen overnight.
That's right.
It's not.
That's right.
But
That's right.
once you learn how to let it out,
Yes.
you will heal.
That's right.
Because if you keep holding it in your heart,
Absolutely.
it's gonna one, it's gonna kill you.
Yes, eventually.
And number two, it's gonna keep you from having a relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where, and we talked about, when we read that, audience, we read that we have a male friendship creed as well as the 7 commitments. That's something that we believe here at MSF. We stand on that. The most important thing that you have in life is a relationship. Because that's what God created us for, relationships. Whether it's with your husband, your children, yourself, or somebody else. We cannot survive in this world without a relationship. We can't. Because you need somebody to communicate with. That's why television sometimes takes the place of communication, because we want to see how other people react to their situations. You see what I'm saying? So that's why television has become so popular over the last 50 years, because nowadays they have these, what do they call these type of shows on TV? Reality shows. You see what I'm saying? So we see what other people are doing, but if we don't communicate with one another, we will not be successful in life. We will not make it. Because God didn't create us that way. So that leads us into what's the next thing. How did God create man? How did he create him? There's 3 things he created man to do. We can touch on these things. He created man, 1, to lead, to protect, and provide. Those are 3 things. Brothers?
Yeah, it's definitely true. Because as a man, you want to do those things as a man.
Sure. Because that's in you.
That's in you.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
But in society, they don't want us to be a man. They want us to be, 1, a fighter.
Yes, that's right. It's true.
2, a lover.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to get into that.
But see, when the society's perception on who we are as a man is backwards. Because like I said before, it's a double standard.
Yes.
Society wants us to be a man, but when we be a man, they call us a wussy, they call us a wimp, they say, oh man, get over it.
Yes. Yes.
But see, when you get down to it, that's how the murder happened.
Sure.
That's how the suicide happened.
That's right.
Because that man, he thinks he's doing all that he can do, that he was trained to do.
Yes.
But when it backfires and you go into a deep depression, the only way you can get out of it is with anger or suicide.
Yes. And society condemns us when we react that way.
Right.
But like you said, when we try to act the right way and try to do things the way as God created us as men to do, then we get condemned for that.
Right.
And that's not right. Brother Dwight.
I'm glad that you touched on that. Those 3 things, as far as protect, provide,
And lead.
For your family. The thing is that men, that's what we're created to do. But what about if certain men can't uphold that ability? So we'll go back to that man box. So I just say men should do this.
Yes.
Our women looking and expecting our men to do this. But what if the men can't do that? The man is going to do everything in his possibility to get those things done. If it's the right way or the wrong way.
That's right.
But again, that can mislead a man and keep him down and captive mentally by him trying to live up to the expectations of this man box. Which is lead, protect, provide.
That's right.
And every woman and every man want to be able to do that.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I'll say it can go from a wide range also too, because after you leave your family to protect your family, also goes into how much you play in the community also too. So keeping a safe community that's strong with your family plays a big impact and things like that. And also too, I think we should get our women on track about if I can't do this, lead, protect, provide. I know we are created to do this, but that's why women was created for help to men also too. They can't do this certain part, they can do this, but women, they look down on the men where you can't do these things with me, but they forgot that you was created to help the men. This gap they can't do it, so when they do get back and be able to be in that position, it will be able to happen. Because I went through this thing with my kids' mother and things like that. I probably lacked in certain areas, but the other areas, I picked up in increasingly.
So what you're basically saying is that sometimes we as men, we lack certain traits. And the reason why we do lack, because we have not been properly trained. Society, and we go back to what we're saying, that's why we talk about this man box today. Men are already equipped to what he needs to be a good provider, to be a good leader, and to be a good protector. But society has indoctrinated our minds or brainwashed us to think what the world wants to think. That's why we are not doing that's why we cannot do for the women the way we want to, because we feel that some of us men think that the woman should do certain things for us. We be lazy. We don't want to go out there and give an effort to learn certain things. And then what happens is, when that happens, then, and we're going to get it, and let's touch on this because I think it's very, very important. We get in the position that a man's main goal, I'm going to tell you, he wants to eat, he wants to watch sports, and have sex. If it ain't got nothing to do with those three things, he don't want nothing to do with it. And what I mean by that is, brothers, what we do as men, we compartmentalize everything in our life. We put this in the box. If it's our job, that's in the box. If it's at home, that's in the box. Whatever we do, we put in the box, and we can shut that door, and we ain't got to deal with that box. But a woman is not like that. All her boxes are open. She can do 9 or 10 different things at one time, but we as men, we can't do that. We have to concentrate on doing one thing first, and then move on to the next thing. So what that means is, I'm going to get you, brother, because I think this is very important, because what happens is men get into the perception, and we're going to get into it, I think we talked about this in our meeting, is that what happens is we look at women as a piece of meat. And then all we want to do is have sex with women, and then when the girl's impregnated, the man leaves because he don't know how to be a man. All he doesn't know how to do is have sex and drop his seed and move on, because society has shaped him that way. So we are responsible for what goes on, but society has shaped us to be that way. You see what I'm saying? So because God has already equipped you and me in the beginning, he's already equipped us to have everything we need to be successful. If we're not successful, then we as a society, we're taking on a society that's making us do the things we do. Brother Josh.
I just want to add a comment to what we were talking about earlier. Sometimes the man will fear the woman.
Oh.
Because what I mean by that, brothers, is that he thinks the woman is doing more than what he's doing. What I mean by that is the man may not have a job.
Okay.
And he's a stay-at-home dad.
Okay.
And the mom's working all day.
Okay.
And the man, he feels down inside because he's not doing his job. He's not He's not the provider. He's not the leader.
That's right.
He's not the leader because it goes back to what Brother Dwight said, fear. Fear, it could be fear of the unknown. That's mostly what it is fear of the unknown. Because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's right.
So you gotta try to be a man. But you can't be a man unless it's bestowed upon you.
That's right, brother. It goes back to the beginning.
Because when you're a boy and a young man, I didn't get this from my father.
That's right.
But as a group, you can get it from your father or as a group of men.
That's right.
But you have to have it bestowed upon you.
Right.
It's not you earn it.
That's right.
It has to be given to you. Okay,
so, and I'm glad you said, I'm going to get back to you, and this is very, very good. I'm glad you bring up that point is, even though God has put that in each one of us, it has to be brought out of us. Because if it's not nurtured, it's like that's what women do. Women are nurturers. So in that case, if we don't have a real man that has been taught and trained to be a man, then he cannot pull what's already outside in you, outside, so you can operate in those things and being a leader, being a protector, and being a provider. So when they fall short, like you said, and I know we all men, we all fall short in some areas here or there. But to have those three things, that's already inside of you as the nature of man is already in you. It's like a woman, she always has certain things in her that makes her a woman. It's just automatic. It's in her nature.